Hey everyone, my name is Alice Bull, and we are here today for Scrapbook Live. This is a monthly session that I do, and as part of the ScrapHappy membership. But we like to bring everyone along with us for a little bit of scrappy fun. So that's what we're doing today is we're going to be scrapbooking together. Now, our regular sponsor has recently closed their doors. This is stuff that happens, but what we're gonna do today is just gonna use supplies that I'm really excited to because let's just say I've been shopping. So I'm gonna use some supplies that I'm excited by right now. There is a paper line that I'm somewhat obsessed with, and I think I've made like, I don't know, like 6 pages already, and I'm like not over it. I'm gonna be showing off some of that paper. It is very thematic. It goes very much with what I'm doing. And because I like to give away prizes, we're going to do a $25 gift certificate from scrapbook.com today. So stay tuned. That's coming up. And that way you can pick whatever you're excited about and makes your little heart go pitty pat. So Gwen's like, woo, woo. She's excited. And so that's going to be fun stuff. So first off, I have been creative. I've been scrapbooking. And then I'm like, I need a few cards. So I made some cards last night. They were drying. So I had to leave them sit, but I have a turnabout stamp from Concord and Ninth. I'm obsessed. What can I say? I love these things. This one has little gems on it. It's a mini gem turnabout. And so look at the little background that I made. And then I actually got the matching die. They were on a crazy good sale on the Concord and Ninth website. And so I picked up the matching die, and you can see one way that I've used it here. And then I took a little bit of, I have a page protector that I keep handy, kind of handy in one of these piles, but it's one that I chop up. So this is a little bit of page protector here. I just could not find some appropriate packaging material that was going to hold up well. And so I made this into a shaker card. And to kind of give myself more space for the shaker, I've used foam tape in there, but I also attached little some of the gems are attached into the background, and that kind of gives you a little extra space for your shaker elements to have room to kind of shake around. So if I put it upside down, you actually kind of get like a little waterfall effect, almost a little bit of Plinko effect. Anybody like Price is Right, Plinko? You kind of get a little bit of Plinko effect as the pieces fall around the little gems, which I think is really pretty. And I used a little bit of this Nuvo drop, the glitter drops, this to make these little drops. But then I also outlined around here, and that turned out pretty good, like going around there. The tip on these Nuvo bottles is super fine. So you can do like a really thin bead of um, the goo, the Nuvo magic that's in the bottle. So that was one of the little cards that I made. And so you can see how I've got like a circle punched out of there. Well, that leads me to my next card, and it's got the circle on it. This one I used a stamp set from Concord and Ninth called Brushed Stripes or something like that. And it actually has like little dash lines and some little polka dots. And then I stamped some of the random little gems on the background of the pink one. I've done the same thing with the Nuvo drop, kind of like I would use like what do you call it? The sparkle stuff, the little sparkle stuff. Anyways, and then there is another piece of the die that cuts the little outlines like this, so you can see all the facets of the gems. And so I've attached that in there too. So there was another little card. And then I recently picked up some new stamp pads, and I was excited to give them a go. They are from the Stamp Market. They have some super cool colors. So these are some of the companies I'm obsessed with right now, which is why we should talk about all this stuff. I got this bubblegum color, a blush color. So I've got kind of 2 shades of pink. And then I got their Tropic Teal and Emerald Isle. So kind of 2 shades of kind of greeny teal color to kind of go together. And then I used that brush stripes that I used here just with one color. And I kind of did each stripe in its own color, repeating the top and the bottom because I only had 4 colors, right? It's like make it work. But I love how the colors really came out on that. So recommendation, if you are looking at investing in something like stamp sets or stamp pads or something of that sort, really think of how you're going to be able to use those stamps colors together. Sometimes our first inclination is to go rainbow, and rainbows are great, but sometimes it's almost better to do a couple different shades in a similar color palette if they're not the same color, right? So I could do this bubblegum color first value, second value to make a lighter version, but this blush is actually a different shade. So this gives me more variety, I think, of things that kind of work well together. And so the pads themselves, because they're kind of new, you might not have seen them, they're kind of like a spongy foam. And I'm showing you this one on purpose because when I did this one here, I edged around the edge of the pink because it was looking a little white, kind of frayed. And you'll see that I did damage my ink pad a little bit there. So it did tear at the foamy, spongy stuff a little bit. So I was like, oh, what happened there? And then I could see those streak lines across the stamp pad. And I'm like, oh, that was me. But so note to self, they're not indestructible, but they are beautiful colors. I will say that this base here is quite narrow, and that's going to make it probably easier to stick onto a lot of little shelves. So it should be quite versatile to stick on most storage shelves. But when you're holding it and you're going down onto your projects, you'll notice like my fingers, they look really fat compared to this. So if I was putting this down onto a surface, like a piece of paper or whatever, so if it's going down onto a piece of paper, my fingers are actually hitting the paper before my stamp pad is. And I do a lot of stuff where I'm like blobbing it down onto something. So while I'm liking these colors, I'm not especially loving, the fact that that one tore up on the thing. But I'm also not liking how thin this is because it makes it hard to actually apply the ink to the stamp rather than the other way around. I think they're going to work fantastic. Actually, the ink feels really nice in these. So they're called a premium dye ink is what they sell them as. And I haven't tried any kind of other fancy stuff. This is my first chance kind of playing with them. But I thought I would share that anyways because it's fun to see new products. I was excited to get some of their colors because if you're not following the Stamp Market on Instagram, they're a really great, they have really good card inspiration especially, but they came out with a great scrapbook collection in January at Creativation, and it was called Miss Modern. It's really pretty, really nice. I'm not using it today for this stuff, but yeah, it's really gorgeous. Okay, so I showed you these 2 cards. I have one more. Oh no, it was this one. And this one was with all the 4 colors. And then I used this word wish, which is actually from a different stamp company. This one is from Photoplay, and it is one of their Say It With Stamps collections. If you guys didn't see these, did anybody see the video from Photoplay from Creativation? So, it's not going to sit there and stay there. This collection is focused around a single word, right? Every stamp set has a different focal word. Like This time it's wish, but all of the other little sayings on it kind of go with the word wish. So it gives you a lot of variety in what you can do. They also have a die that you can use for cutting them out. So there's like a little die that's available. I didn't get the die. I was kind of kicking myself afterwards that I didn't get the die. I was like, oh, why didn't I get the die? I would have really liked it for this. So some of the sayings say, so close your eyes and make a wish. Dreams are a wish your heart makes. So you can literally say that. There's a big birthday sealed with a upon a star. Happy birthday. All the happiness your heart can hold on to, all the luck in the world. Wonderful birthday, blow out the candles, make, so there's lots of little tiny words that also allow you to build some different phrases that you might not see on here. And I just thought these were really great, like good card builders, but also with those little tiny phrases, I'm totally going to end up with those on my layout. So that was kind of fun. Okay, so that's my little bit of show and tell as far as playing with new products and trying new stamp sets.
I also,
Did
from the stamp,
yeah.
from Stamp Market, I've been using their that new system they created for stamp storage. The little like inserts that when you toured, she showed like right at the end of your video. And I bought it. I actually organized all my stamps and destashed the ones I didn't want and counted exactly how many I needed and got a couple extras. And I've been loving it, and it's actually worked out really well since I've gotten them. I don't have them in the Remember Eden right now, but yeah, I really love the system, and it has worked really well. I mean, it was an investment for storage for my stamps, and I don't have the right container for it yet for storing it. But I mean, I've used my stamps way more now that they're organized. I have them like in categories, and they're all out of the little, because for me, I know, especially with my thickers and my letter stickers, like the biggest part of like is like taking it out of the package and that little like sticky thing when you have to like put things away. I just don't put it away because I don't have to deal with that little like sticky thing. So stamps are the same way. I don't get it out of the package and I don't want to use it because then you have to put it away with that little sticky thing. So having them in a different system. And so I really like that this, you get rid of the little piece of clear thing too that hangs onto it and you stick it to the white piece. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that I had actually been using the new product that they came out with. So
That's really cool because we almost missed it. She'd showed it kind of before we'd started the camera rolling when we were doing the booth tour. And so this is for the stamp market. If anybody wants to see the stamp market creativation video, it's like, I think if you type in the stamp market creativation 2020, my video should probably pop up. I think they have pink backgrounds this year or blue. I can't remember, but it's the only one I did with the stamp market. So it'll show up. And she showed me before and then we almost forgot. And then we're like, oh no, we have to do this thing. It was like one last thing. And it was kind of funny because she was super losing her voice and we made it work. She's like, I can't even talk. And I'm like, it's fine. People just want to see your stuff. So yeah, I was really excited. And the papers are beautiful, but that storage is wonderful. And I have to say, they came out with some metal dies, like alphabet dies as well. Oh, I had it in my cart when I was on the stamp market. And then I'm like, no, you're not going to use it enough. Well, maybe. No, don't. But they have some bigger ones that are tall and skinny. And then they have a slightly smaller ones in a kind of similar font. Oh, I'm still not sure. Maybe I'll end up with them. I did see them. I got to go into a real store. Can I tell you? I got to go into a real scrapbook store the other day and they're taking appointments. So they take one person in the store at a time. I called to find out what their whole procedures are for customers right now. And she didn't have anybody in there. And we were like 2 blocks away. So that's how I ended up going to a scrapbook store. But it was amazing to go in there and actually be able to see. And, I was trying not to touch everything, germs and whatever now, but to see everything. I touched the things that I was like putting in my cart. And yeah, Gwen's like, lucky. I know. Super fun. Okay, we should talk about scrapbooking today and what the plan is for today. And I had this open. I don't know if I've closed it. I've closed so many different windows here. But yeah, we're going to be scrapbooking today. Now, this is kind of funny because I'm actually the featured designer for our load challenge today, and I so did not plan that well. But I'm going to use that prompt again because I think it is so easy. Like, it's such a good one to use. And I will share some of the info here. Let's bring that up. Now I can see there. Okay, so today our inspiration for load was around, like, it's all inspired by the Beatles. We're doing load 520 Abbey Load, inspired by the Beatles. And our song focus for the day is the song Because. And it was written by John Lennon. And there are some really fun things. Like, it was actually kind of inspired by Moonlight Sonata, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. John had heard Yoko Ono. She was sitting at the piano and she's playing it. And he's like, hey, can you play that backward? And so whatever they did with the piano, and the song is not, like, Because is not actually Moonlight Sonata backwards. It's like a little different, but but I thought that was an interesting kind of little story about kind of where inspiration just comes from. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's interesting, and then you try something else with it, which is exactly what we do in scrapbooking all the time, right? So the page, the prompt that we have for today is to tell a story from a new perspective, tell a story from behind the scenes. Like, maybe it's not the story that is the first thing you see when you look at the pictures, is kind of how I like to think about it. So for technique, it says to mix up your process and create your page backwards or include backwards items. And I don't even know how to create a page backwards anymore. Like, I was trying to think, I'm like, what am I going to do? I did not create my page backwards. I don't even know what that would mean. But I I did include some of the technique in there. So this page was actually inspired. I told my son what the topic was, and he's like, oh, you should tell the story about filming my one Bubble Man video and how I got the swimmer's itch. And so this was the page that I created, and I took screen captures from the actual video, like his Bubble Man video. And so this was the starting image. He emerges from under the water and comes up, and then later on in the video, he's walking back into the pond. So some of this stuff was filmed before other scenes in the video. And so when you look closely at the pictures of him in certain parts of the video, he is covered in spots. He looks like he has chicken pox or something, but he is just covered in these little red spots. And it is from swimmer's itch. Whatever was in that water, I'm like, you should not go in that water. Oh, you're putting your head under the water? Don't put your head under the water. Oh my God, don't do this. Like, this was the mother. And dad's like, just hop in there. It's fine. Well, he was so itchy afterwards. Now, you guys have probably heard that I like to tell stories. And so I'm like, I made these pictures so big, and then I've got extra little pictures. I'm running out of space. I've got my QR code that links to the video. And then, so I decided to create a pocket underneath this top photo. So when I mat a photo, sometimes I actually, at that point, I actually create a little pocket behind it using, like, I've got some foam tape underneath it. But one thing is just easy to do is to fold up a piece of paper. Now you've got a little pocket for you to slide your photo into, especially when, especially if you have, let's see, like, you can see how these pieces of the kind of explosion-y, superhero-y kind of effect, the yellow, they're kind of all pieced. There's different layers here. So if I was trying to stick my photo straight into the background behind there, it would just catch on or my journaling in there, it would just catch on everything. So by creating like a little pocket for it to slip into, it actually makes it easier to slide the journaling back in when you're done with it. And I use the front and the back of the journaling card, as well as including this photo of my son from the back. he's got his backside on there. So I have covered the technique part. We are covered on the back. And through this, I tell the story about how when he was, making the video, he got swimmer's itch. You can see the itchy red spots all over him. Like, he used up a good bottle of calamine lotion and then some after that. But oh my gosh. Yeah, let's see. Marisa's no fun. I've had swimmer's itch. It's terrible. Great page. Alice, I watch the amazing videos. So it all kind of started on Lark. He makes these videos about showing off tricks in the pool because he's a swimmer, right? And so that's kind of how his Bubble Man thing started. He can actually make bubble rings. So he blows a bubble ring and he like pushes it and it like travels across a whole pool sometimes. Like, they're kind of amazing. And so he started making these videos, but my husband kind of got it to be like alter ego. And so the first one that he made, something happened. And so he did this whirlpool one and it took off on YouTube. So it was crazy. YouTube just started recommending it like crazy. And at the time he had like 3 videos on his channel, like almost nothing, right? Like, it's not like he had a bunch of videos. He hadn't, done a bunch of stuff, but for whatever reason, YouTube picked it up, started recommending this video. And he, mind you, Shallow, she says, do your QR codes link to videos on YouTube? Absolutely. I just take the share link from the YouTube video and put that into the QR creator at goqr.me. It's the one I use. And yeah, so when they started recommending his videos, and like next thing you know, he had like 1 million views, 2 million views, 3 million views on a video. I know, it's crazy. And so I think in the video when I was recording because day 30 inspiration, I was like, oh, he has like 8 million views on his one video. I looked and then I'm like, oh, he has 10 million views on his video. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, the stuff that pops sometimes on YouTube, right? But yeah, so it's kind of funny. Shella says, my daughter sings and I would love to include her videos on her pages. Super easy. I do have a written tutorial for it. So I'm just going to go to Google for a second. If you scroll down just a little bit, there is a link to scrapbookwonderland.com, which is my old blog. And there is there's a add video to a scrapbook page. So let me grab this link. So you can open this up here, and it's scrapbookwonderland.com/add video to a scrapbook page with a little dash between every word, like a little hyphen between every word. But if you're here right now, you can just use this link and that will give you the instructions. It's super easy, but just make sure when you print your little graphic that it prints square. Okay, we're going to actually start some scrapbooking. So we know the inspiration. We know what's happened there. The pictures that I've chose to go with today are, I have this picture of me and my dad, and he built me this table. It's a picnic table. It's a chicken picnic table. I know, Gwen, I can see you laughing. So this all started, and this is the behind the scenes, right? I get a text from my brother. He doesn't text me very often, every once in a while, right? I get a text from my brother and he sends me this. And it is a little graphic that's got shared around online. And the chicken people have seen this. And it says, babe, 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 my chickens need a picnic table. And so this is the graphic that he sent to me. And then later that day, I go onto Facebook. My mom has tagged me in a post with this image also. So I got double tagged on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally need this is happening. This has to happen. So I go and I tell my dad about it. And he's like, oh, we can build one of those. And then I was going to go down and help him do it. But I showed up at his place. He's like, here's your picnic table. So he built it for me. And I'm just like, I had to tell the little backstory behind that because, you know, just to go from like that creation and kind of talk about how much support I've had with my whole chicken endeavors, which are hilarious. So the paper that I have been obsessed with right now is this Farm Life collection from it's called Minte by Carola Witzak. I probably said that really badly too. It is a super thick, this is probably part of why I'm so obsessed with it. It's not just pretty, it's super thick. Can you hear that? Oh, that is like the sign of good paper, right? Beth says, what a nice dad. I know. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm laughing too hard. I'm like tearing up. That's hilarious. So too funny, right? And yeah, so I'm gonna use some of this paper. I've got this barn board kind of paper, which I haven't used yet. I've got some leftover scraps of other sheets, and then I do have some chicken wire paper still. It has a pretty design on the other side, but there's technically no chickens on this paper. Well, okay, there's a little chick. Could totally use that. I do have more of this paper here as well, but I did use this one. I made a really fun one about feeding the chickens. I've got a cut apart sheet of it. I know, aren't they so pretty? I just love it. But then I actually have this floral one as well that has this blue kind of, what is it, gingham on the other side. I've got the pink one with the chicken, with the red gingham. And so I've got a few of the sheets. I recently bought more because I needed more of it. But then I also have a similar collection. They came out with one called Berrylicious. I did get most of these at a scrapbook store last year. So it's maybe not their newest collection out there, but oh my gosh. So there is a great one. Look at that blue barn board. So I actually bought it for the blue boards. And now I'm looking at this going, ooh. And if you love kitties and picnics and everything, and look at that, the boards. Oh, so pretty. And then the board, and that was like the kitty stuff. So I did get a few other collections that had the amazing wood in them, like just putting all of these together. You can see, like, even if you were totally not into the cats and chickens and everything else, like there's definitely papers that could be good for stuff. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm going to set up my other camera angle and actually scrapbook. What is the name of the collection again? So the main collection is called Farm Life, and it's from Minte by Carola Witzak. It says it's a 2018 collection, actually. So Mintay by Karola. Minte by Carola. And here, I'll just hold this up really close because you should be able to read that, I think. If I'm not too shaky. Okay, There we go. Let's get started on some scrapbooking. So I am curious. Marie says, I love Minte. And I'm like, is it Minte? Like, are you getting all sassy? I don't know, but yeah, it's like, okay, Alice, cut it out. Let's see. I'd love to know what you're working on today. Hopefully you're scrapbooking with me, not just watching me scrap, although, you know, sometimes you just need a little escape, and so that's fine too. But I'd love to know what you're working on, or if you're working on our prompt from today, what direction have you gone with this? What kind of behind the scenes or backwards thing, or like where is your inspiration taking you? Deborah says she's working on her 2011 album. That's pretty good. It's kind of like a little blast from the past, right? It's not like going back to your youth. Well, I guess for some people it could be, right? Do we have any 20-year-olds in the group? That's like going back to your youth. But yeah, Marie says she's a dog page, off topic from the prompt. That's totally fine. That's part of load, right? It's the loud a day thing, not follow all of Alice's prompt to the letter kind of thing. So it's all about creating a page, whether you use the prompts or not. Hopefully they're there to inspire, entertain, and, you know, make you or help you have some fun. Brielle says, I started with a card for my mom's birthday, more in the mood to scrap, so time to pivot. Yesterday was actually my mom's birthday, so probably one of those cards that I made. I started making one. I'm like, oh, maybe not that one. Maybe I'll make another one. So that's how I ended up with 3 different cards. So I'm going to pick one of them, and I'm going to be down at my mom's today because I actually get to see her. We're allowed to do small group family kind of thing only, as long as you don't have too many people. So I don't actually know what the rules are about numbers of people anymore, but you know, my brothers, their families, and that's it. And I only have 2 brothers, so so I will see them. And oh my gosh, this picnic table. So just makes me so happy.
My page was yesterday was kind of a behind the scenes, so yesterday's page kind of fits for today's prompt. But yesterday I've been scrapbooking some pages from last year in March, and my nephew, he really doesn't like to have his picture taken, and so we got some good pictures of him at this activity, though, because we bribed him with a cookie. We said, oh, if you smile, you know, we'll give you a cookie. And so the first 2 pictures is kind of, you know, doing the whole, don't take my picture. And then last picture, he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll sit
cookies, I'm in.
So I wrote that in my journal. I was like, oh yeah, he never wants to have his picture taken, but we had to bribe him with a cookie, and then we got a good picture. And so that actually works for today's prompt, but that was yesterday's page.
That's awesome. Tina says, I flunked this load. I did day 1 and 2. Today I'm cleaning, putting stuff away, and getting stuff together for an online class. So you just had a less than productive load, Tina. I wouldn't call that failing. You scrapbooked this month. For me, sometimes that's a win right there. If I scrapbooked that month, like there are months where Scrapbook Live is my only scrapbooking for the month. Often a month after load, I'm kind of like, okay, that was a great month. Now I need to like sit back and be like, okay, let's get back into scrapbooking a little bit. I would like to be to say that I do scrapbooking, not just like look at scrapbooking of other people's. I do plenty of that too. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is just so cute. Yeah. My mom got involved on the picnic table and was giving my dad directions on how to build it. So when I was hearing the whole story about the thing, it was funny. It was funny. Oh, I've got a little card from the last time when I cut stuff up. I think that would be cute. Just kind of tuck that little barn in there somewhere. Let's see. Okay. I meant to do this. Is it gonna work? I guess we'll see. On this one, I can't do the side by side view, so that's too bad, but I can bring this. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. I'll take it today. Um, Kathy says she's working on some Happy Mail cards with a new Teepee template and actually working on Christmas cards. Yes, in May. I don't know what a Teepee template is, so I'm really curious. If you wish to come on camera, we would love to see what you're doing. So feel free to like take your mute off, and we can put you up if you'd like to share. And Sherry says she's working on her COVID-19 traveler's notebook. And then Vicky says she's working on her load layout. She scrolled through some old photos and found a photo of the world's largest frying pan. Thought it was funny, but also used behind the scenes. I love it. Well, I don't know if you remember, I think last load I scrapbooked about the world's largest kubasa sausage. It's like a giant sausage link. And I'm like, cool. My husband's like, why do you want to go and see things like this? I'm like, I'm just fascinated that they would build it. Just fascinated they would do it. Nadine says, I just arrived, better late than never, and she's going to work on some old class kits from Crop and Create 2018. Woohoo. Oh, Tina says it was a win. Okay. Hi, Kathy. Is that Kathy?
Hi, yes, I'm on. Finally, I went, did video for a change. My friend and I have this thing to share video, share card templates. And so we secretly send each other card templates all the time. And she sent me one the other day that was amazing. And so I got so inspired. I took out everything that I own Christmas, and I've been fast and furious building cards out of my scraps. So this one is a Teepee card, and it looks like this. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so this one has a little shaker on the front, and it fits in a small envelope. The whole card is no bigger than 4 inches by 4 inches, and it actually comes apart right here with the little Velcro dot, and it folds in half to fit in a card like this.
Oh my gosh.
So it fits in a regular size envelope perfectly.
Cool.
So I did all different. I just took out all my little Christmas embellishments. So I've been doing different little ones that I have. So every card is coming out different. Just took my little scraps of Christmas.
That is so fun. What a fun
Yeah, it has been really fun. Basic cardstock. I used 8.5 by 11 sheets, actually, I think, for the most of it, because I had a bunch of scrap. And then just scraps of pattern paper to put on the other sides.
And so for cutting your base for that, is that like, how do you cut the bases? Or it's like a die or something?
It's 3 4x4 squares that are scored diagonally down the middle. And then there's a process to glue. I mean, it is the simplest thing I ever have done. And it's so 3 4x4 squares, and then 2 3 5/8 by 3 5/8 squares that you cut diagonally. And then 2 little, like 1 3/8 that fit these 2 little places right here.
Okay.
Little corners.
We're covering them and stuff.
And that's it. I mean, totally out of scrap. So, yeah.
Fun.
So I'm having fun doing those today. I got very, very inspired, I know, in May, but it worked.
Well, everybody is fascinated because Marie says, cool card. Joyce says, you aren't in your scrapbook room.
No, I'm actually in the dining room. I have totally trashed pretty much every room in my house today.
And
But for my husband, it was National Scrapbooking Day, so I was entitled to do that. But yeah, so it's fun. I just found, actually you can find the how to do it on YouTube. Just type in Teepee Card.
All right.
And there's a couple of different ways, but I found the easiest was cutting the 3 4x4 pieces of cardstock, and it shows you how to put them together.
Cool.
Super
So,
easy.
yeah, Missy says, I've never seen that card style. Thanks for sharing. These are amazing, says Deetra, and that is so cute. This is awesome.
No worries. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Okay. So Lynn is here. She says, hi, Alice and everyone. She's Lynn from Wisconsin and trying to sew a sensory octopus for a student before I get to scrap. That's an interesting project. If you care to show us what that looks like, I'm curious. And Tina's working on a layout she started 2 days ago. Finally did some journaling and finishing with some stamping. Sometimes that's how layouts get built, right? I've had a few where they kind of get set aside and they come back, but I always like it when I can actually get it finished up front. It's like, whew, relief. I actually did this one. I don't leave as many as I used to, I would say. I'm much, much better about not leaving layouts partially completed. Okay, I love this paper so much, but I have used this one. I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is cut the little frame at the bottom. Oh, do I have one that's like that? Too many papers on my desk. Oh, it's a different one. Too much pink in that one. I like this blue better. Okay. Okay, I'm not seeing it, so. Okay, since I've done that one, I'm gonna cut this paper. Gonna torture some paper, guys. Gonna do a little bit of fussy cutting stuff. It's like, I don't know if I want the piece at the bottom or if I just want the piece at the top. Kind of want the piece at the top. Okay. So after I get my scrapbook done today, I will be going down to my mom's. Like I said, it was her birthday yesterday. So we're gonna get together at her place. She said she was making her own cake. So then that made me instantly feel like a terrible daughter. I know, Marie says, oh no, you cut into the beautiful paper. I know. I'm like hoping that I do it something like justice. Okay, and I need to rough cut this. Okay. I'll leave some of it intact so that I can do some finer detail stuff. I'm using my Tim Holtz scissors for these because they have a really large handle and they are a lot more comfortable to cut with than my little more detailed ones. They are a serrated edge, so if you look really closely when you're using them, there is like a little serrated edge along the cutting lines, but I'm not really bothered by that. And man, they make this paper actually feel pretty easy to cut, whereas I think a smaller, like more detail kind of what we'd call a detail scissor would be harder to use. Just because the paper is so thick. Actually, it reminds me kind of the P13 paper, and that paper is also like super thick and beautiful. Wasn't that one from Poland too? Brielle says, my mom is making her own cake too. Did you see that our moms have the same birthday? It's just another thing, you know? It's like just another similarity between us, Brielle. There's a few of them. That's so funny. Okay, so now I've got this piece cut, and like on the original design, you can see it was kind of at the top, but there's nothing in it that says I must be at the top. So I'm kind of actually looking at how I can sneak it in on the side of my layout a little bit, which I think would be good. And then if I can sneak it into the right spot here. No, the picture's a little higher than I want it to be. You can always cut some off, I guess, at the bottom. There. Kathy says, oh, I so love that paper, Alice. And Sharon says, I have to quit hoarding paper or they'll just throw it away when I pass. Paper, I had the hardest time. I will confess. I had the hardest time. I was right there with you as a paper hoarder. I was really good at hoarding my paper, but I'm getting better. I'm a recovering paper hoarder because I'm starting to realize that there is always going to be more paper that I love. And if I don't use the paper that I love now, then later on, when I look back, I'm going to be like in love with something else, because that has totally happened. Now, so feel free to confess. Feel free to make your confessions here and tell me, have you loved paper so much that you've hoarded it, not used it? Later on, you go back and you're just not that in love with it. I could show you. Well, I'd have to go digging a little bit, but there was one paper line from close to my heart when I was a consultant that I loved so much. I bet you I have like, I don't know, 8 packs of it or something. Like, I'm talking like full on hoarder, but I was going to use it in my wedding album, which is also not done, by the way. Did you notice how none of the pages that I've shared over the last 2 months of sharing all the layouts, none of them were a wedding album? Yep. We all have our little nemesis. Vicky says the paper is gorgeous. It is called Farm Life. It's the Farm Life collection from Minte by Kerala. Kerala, what's that? Let's hold this. Oh yeah, different camera. I was holding it up to the wrong camera. Farm Life. I'm hoping you're seeing this the right way, because it shows backwards on my camera, but I think Zoom is smart and flips it. So it actually makes it way easier, because when you have the reverse, I move the hand and they go in the right direction. When I was on the YouTube, it does not do that. And I was telling you, my brain was going for a loop. So, yeah. So it's been a very, very productive month, I have to say. And I'm getting things set up for more fun adventures. So there's been a lot of things happening in the background. Vicky says, thanks, I haven't heard of that one. Brielle says, I have a hard time with scene papers and I love how you're using different elements. This layout is beautiful. Thank you. We're getting started. Hopefully it'll keep going that way. But I love scene paper, and I think that it gets a really bad rap because it can be such a challenge to use. But I think it was almost like a challenge to me. It was like, oh yeah, well, you can use that. Like, come on, just step up and do it. And yeah, once you kind of get a few little tricks up your sleeve, it makes it a little bit easier. Like checking out what I'm cutting off of this one. It's just a little bit too wide. Okay, so I'll sneak us under there a little bit. So I don't always do a lot of fussy cutting, but I do use my craft blade a lot. So I didn't use it here because it was just going to be faster with scissors, but I do actually use my craft blade a lot. And it was one of the first tools that I really put to work when I started scrapbooking. So, you know, just like one of those, I'm always looking for it because I literally just had it out and it's on my desk. So just like one of these kind of craft knives, right? But I use one of those a lot instead of fussy cutting, or to kind of cut into a background paper so I can like tuck my photo underneath part of it, or do different things like that. That's something that happens a lot. Okay, I want this matted, and I think a little bit of this blue would be good. So I kind of have all this extra scrappy bit up there. If I actually put this in the cutter, I'll just keep like the little pieces too. Like when I'm working with a collection, I keep all of the little doodaddy little bits that are leftovers, right? Until I've kind of done my run with the collection, I just keep all of the stuff together. So like this could be a scrap that you don't keep, or it could just be that perfect little embellishment that creates a little layer for something to kind of sit on, right? So until I'm done with it, I don't like to throw out the bits. Does anybody else kind of do that too? And then I didn't put the little butterflies into that because I thought I would cut them separately and pop them up off the layout so that I could create a little dimension. That's why I didn't cut them into the part with this. So I've got two little butterflies here that we're gonna end up on here. So those are just an extra little embellishment. So Beth says, while you're working with a collection, how do you store all the bits? I actually have a bunch of those, like the Ziploc baggies kind of that fit the 12 by 12 paper. And then I like to kind of put all of that together. And that way all the little bits can kind of stay together. Right now I've been using this one so much, so it's just been on my desk. It hasn't even made it into a baggie yet because it hasn't like gone into storage. I'm like talking with my hands and I realize that we can't see that. It's probably a good thing. I talk with them too much. If they could learn how to actually say something, that would be more helpful. But yeah, I think that it is a challenge keeping all the pieces and kind of deciding what's useful and what's not, right? And I kind of kept this bottom piece because I could use that at the bottom of another page, or I could piecemeal some of the pieces out. I'm not sure what'll happen with it yet, but I've got that one and I've got this pink one as well. And I'm, you know, whether I use the front or the back, you know, right now there's a lot of chickens in my life, so they could end up on here. But I'd like to get that little barn on there. I'd like to get this in here. Okay, I'm gonna stick this to that. Yeah, does anybody else have a different way that they store like collection things together when you have stuff? So if I had like an ephemera pack or special like little enamel dots or something, like if I had other elements, I would keep all of those pieces for this collection together in one little stash or two. So it's not just the papers. I kind of keep all of those little pieces together while I'm working on a kit like that, so that I just have all the stuff ready to go. I think that's a helpful thing. That way I'm not like searching all over to find, where did I put that? Did I have some embellishments for this? Sorry. And it's, you know what it's like when you have a room full of stuff. You have a room full of stuff that you have to try to organize and find. Okay. I want my picture right there. So I'm working on putting our heads kind of in that thirds kind of thing. You know, when you divide a page into the quadrants, like into 3 sections, and then you divide those 3 sections the other way into 3 sections. So, you know, the kind of the guideline is to keep people and focal points at one of the intersections. If I had more, probably do have more little strips on this table. Let's just say. Okay, it's not a strip, it's a ribbon, but here we go. So, oh, yeah, it's a demo ribbon. So when I'm thinking about where to stick the picture, and you've seen me kind of play with it up and down, lots of times I want my pictures in those crossover points. Like that's where my pictures end up a lot. Some people were like, yeah, that's old school, Alice, but some people are like, I've never been told this before. So sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't know. It really helps if you're finding that you're laying out a page and you're just like not, something feels awkward about it. Check your photo positioning like on the page. Use your rule of thirds, which is what this is. So dividing the page into the 3 sections both ways, putting a focal point at one of these intersections makes a big difference on how a page can look. If something's not working, that can really help for you. Another thing is to make sure that your people or the action comes into your page rather than off of the page. This isn't a good picture for it. Let's see what else I have. That's not a good picture. Not to show this. Here, this is a good example. So, picture of my son. He really loves birds. So picture of my son, and you can see how he is facing this way into the page. And I know it's a picture of him from the back, but if I put him up here or down here, he is then off of the page, right? He's looking off of the page. So the action part of the picture is off the page, and that can feel really awkward when you're sticking it onto a layout. So one thing I would like to do, and because of the way that this picture is placed, even up here, I don't like it as much as down here, just because it's kind of, you see the ground, it's very grounded. It's a very grounded picture. So lots of times when a picture is like a waist up kind of picture, sometimes those can be good at the top. You can see like we're kind of at the top of this picture. And lots of times, even when you're taking pictures, you can use the same thing. And a lot of cameras, and even you're on your iPhone or something, you can actually bring up the grid lines, and that can help you take pictures that help you put that person and put the action in one of those frames. So if you've seen these little grid lines, that's what they're there for. They're to help you kind of put the action into those spots. So that's just a little chat about that. That's why I've been like moving this up and down and fiddling around. It's because I'm literally trying to eyeball where is that good spot for the photo to be sitting. Okay. Let's see. Marie is off. She's disappearing. And Deborah says she uses iris containers and 12 by 12 plastic Ziploc bags. Yeah. In my scrapbook room here, I built in a lot of open shelving. and we used, what's it called? Like puckboard or something. It's something similar to like a puckboard. It's thinner than a puckboard, so it's just like a plastic. And because the shelves aren't designed to hold tons of paper, like if I was putting like a big stack of paper like this on it, they wouldn't be designed for that. But it's a really thin material, strong enough to hold several papers, right? It's not holding all of them, but it made the shelves really thin so that I could get more shelves into my room, right? Because it's, well, let's be real, I need as many shelves as we can get in here. And the guy that was doing the shelving, like building the storage, he's like, oh, like he was quite surprised by some of my requests. But I'm like, no, I don't need super strong shelves. I just need thin shelves so they're not taking up space. That way we can put more of them. He's like, oh, okay. I'm like, it's paper. Like, yes, paper, when you bring lots of it together, is heavy, but a little tiny bit on a shelf that is all separated will help me see it. So it was a better system. And, if you look, they're warped a little bit. Like they kind of have like a little bit of a bow. So they're kind of not just sitting there perfectly straight. They're a little bit like this for some of them. I don't care. Like I look over there, I'm like, ooh, all the pretty papers. Okay. Oh, it's gone 11 o'clock. That means we've been here for an hour. 11 o'clock my time. So that means we should probably do a draw. What do you guys think? Should do a draw? I used to wait until I was done like kind of my page, but I'm not going to torture you that long. We want to do prizes. Okay, so let's do a draw. And what I've done in the past is just bring up the list of participants. We have 29 of us hanging out here scrapbooking today, which is great. One of those people is me. So I'm going to bring up a random number generator here on my phone. Random number generator. And we're going to make it out of 28 and hit the generate button. And it says 25. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the list and go 28, 27, 26, 25. Sherry, you are our lucky winner today. You are going to receive a $25 gift certificate for scrapbook.com. Congratulations to Sherry. Sherry, I need you to send me a message at support@scraphappy.org. and let me know that you are our winner of the day. So congratulations, Sherry. Hopefully you're like here and if you can type in and be like, I got it, I'll send you the email or something, that would be awesome. And so I can get that for you. So congratulations. It's always so fun to like give prizes away, I tell you. Okay, this is gonna stick down too. Oh, there. Let's see. Brielle says, I subscribe to a kit club and use the bags until the kit is mostly done. Then I combine them into type, so paper, thickers, die cuts. And I have 90% of what I use in a ScrapHappy bag that I take with me as I go between our beach house and my home with a crafting room. If you were at a reunion with me, I used it and then I just keep using it, the bag, and it's the perfect size. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. I love having a bag for on the go, and they don't have to be as big as we sometimes think they need to be, right? Sometimes it's a matter, ooh, I know what I'm going to use that little bit for. If I stick it right here, it's going to look like that photo is like perfectly matted, and I'm totally cheating because this corner is going to be covered, so you'll not even know. Look how cute that is. Oh, saving all the little bits, right? Yeah, having a bag on the go is so good. If you are curious as to what I would put into a bag, I did do a happy at home session from talking about scrapbooking on the go, because I was on the go. I was actually at my mom and dad's, and I'm like, I am not going to miss out on making my load layouts. So I was scrapbooking on the go, and then we did a scrapbook live on the go too. So that one was maybe the 15th of May or something like that. Something like that. They're all in a playlist. If you go to the ScrapHappy YouTube channel, there's a playlist called Happy at Home, and all the titles are listing kind of what the topic of the day was. Okay. Oh, that was like the best little cheat ever. There we go. It looks totally matted. Okay. I think maybe I'll do the journaling down here. I think I'm going to need to add a little bit of vellum over this area for my journaling, because I don't think it's going to show up super nice on here, but a little bit of vellum will allow me to still see the paper underneath it. I like my picnic table there. Let me just test. Oh, it's stuck. It's good. It'll stay. I'll figure something else out. Okay, here, while I'm figuring that out, I'll just trim these things. Yeah, so the next, oh, I have the date already for our next Scrapbook Live. If you want to mark your calendar, rather than a Saturday morning, we're going to give the Friday night spot a spin in June, because that way some of our Aussie gals can sometimes make it. So I think that was I think it's the Aussie gals that were the Friday night version. So that will be June 26th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And so that is going to be the next Scrapbook Live. I just added the events to the calendar, and I haven't put all the links underneath the calendar, but I'll get those added to the calendar page. I always like to have a backup place for everybody to find the links, just in case something goes wrong in my emails. So, and Kathy says it's in the book. Yeah, I know. It helps when you can like mark the day, and it's like, oh, let's do a little thing. So that will be the next one. Oh, there's like something I want to talk about so bad, and I just can't yet because it's not all sorted out. But let's just say I was working on the non-reunion event that we might do the other day, and I'm optimistic that we'll leave it with that. But I'm really excited. So it's kind of torture. I'm not very good with like keeping kind of like secretive things. Okay. Oh, that's kind of the perfect size, isn't it? There, this is better because that was like looking too big. But if I sneak it underneath there a little bit, that's a little better. Okay, I was thinking of popping it up. Missy's like, you tease. And Deidre's smiling because she knows. So if you're wishing good things, send the good vibes my way so that we can get the answers that I'm hoping to get. Sending all the good vibes, because yeah, kind of excited. Okay. So I think it's time to grab a little bit of vellum to stick it in here. And then I will add a title. Okay. And I've got my little butterflies. I don't want to lose those. I might tuck a little bit. Maybe not that one. Okay. Might need to sneak a little bit underneath that corner, but I got to grab my vellum. Okay, so this vellum that I grabbed is, I'm pretty sure, from Stampin' Up. It's a slightly thicker vellum, so I really, really like it. I know Brielle's like, get her fingers crossed for me. Thank you. It's a slightly thicker vellum, so I really like it texture-wise. Like light vellum is nice, but sometimes it's not very nice to work with when you're like journaling on top of it. It can kind of curl a lot, whereas this one holds its shape a lot better because it's a little sturdier. And I'm gonna just snake a strip in here about that wide. And another trick that I do, if one layer of vellum isn't enough, because sometimes it's not, you can just double up or triple up the layers of your vellum to kind of get the right opacity, to kind of give you that separation that you need so that your journaling can show up on a page. 2 inches would be good. Maybe 2 1/4. So I'm gonna, and attaching vellum is always a thing, right? So you'll notice that I haven't stuck this piece down at all yet. And that's just because I wanted to give myself the opportunity to sneak something in underneath here. But I'm not sure that that is enough difference in opacity. So I'm actually going to try with another piece. Yeah, I think that's a little better. And so I don't really lose my whole barn board effect by using the vellum, which is, I think, a great way. Another great thing about doing your journaling on Brielle says, I just figured out how to use my emojis on my laptop. It's like all the secret skills that we need, right? So the other great thing about doing your journaling on your vellum, if you make a mistake, you slide another piece of vellum in there and blah, everything is perfect. So it gives you the chance to kind of fix any little issues or problems that could come up. Now, because this is like a farmish kind of page, normally I would do my journaling first, but I think I'm going to just stick this together and I think I'll be totally fine with that. I think that by using some staples on here, I think it will look good with my whole kind of farmish theme. And do this other side here. Okay, so now I've got a spot for my journaling. I've got this last little embellishment section here to attach. And then I'll add a little title in here about my picnic table and throw a couple little embellishments. And I might pull out some enamel dots. We'll see. I've got some options. Oh, these look like they could have been made for this. This looks like it could have been made for this. This is a Simple Stories Life in Color set, but look how perfect these colors are. Seriously. They're perfect. Like, that is awesome. That was serendipity, guys. Like, that was just like, I have plenty of these things, and yet the first pack I pretty much grab. Vicky says, I love all the embellishment on the side. It brings it all together. And it'll leave me a little space for my journaling. I might still have like something else that kind of focuses in right here. I just feel like I want the page to kind of flow diagonally across. That's kind of the feel that I'm getting for this page. So I'll probably have like a couple little possibly butterflies up in this top corner, and then everything will flow, and I'll have like the journaling down here, and it'll just kind of flow across this way. Although I might interrupt that with my title, so we'll see. Maybe I'll just do the journaling or the title smaller and right here. That would fit really well with this design. Okay. I didn't really pop anything up, which is somewhat unusual. You know what I should do? Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I told you that I like using my oh, where is it? Oh, there it is. I like using my thing. So I'm gonna take this barn piece, and I've got adhesive on there already because I thought I was done with it, but I'm not. And I'm going to cut the chicken out, and then I'm going to pop the chicken out of the middle of this. And so this is definitely like one of those situations where you need like a little craft blade. And I'll just trim the chicken. So with a craft blade, normally you're turning your paper and not your knife as much as possible. Like, there will be some corners that you'll do with your knife, but as much as possible, you want to turn your paper, and that way you're basically just slowly pulling that knife towards you to get like nice and smooth, nice and smooth cuts. And okay, so, oh, and I think that will be enough. So I haven't completely cut his feet out, but I think that's going to be enough. I don't think I have to pop the whole chicken out. I'll just use my hand to curl it a little bit so that it has a little bit of texture. And then I'm just going to put a, Vicky says I have a steady hand. If you're using a good knife that has a sharp blade, that's helpful. Having like not like a self-healing mat is important, of course. You can do it like if you don't have a self-healing mat, you can just use like layers of cardboard or something like that, but eventually it's going to get roughed up and it'll make it harder for you to drag your craft blade. And now, do I have some little pop-ups right here? Oh, I know. I got this giant roll. I forget about it all the time. Then I'm like, oh, can't find any pop-ups. Oh, there, that's right. And I just cut whatever size I kind of think I need. And go from there. Perfect. Okay, so the chicken's just gonna pop up just a little bit, but I like adding those little tiny bits of texture to my pages, so I think that will work good. Just gonna apply just a little more adhesive. So this adhesive is the Glue Dots tape runner. I think they call it glue tape actually, and I personally like it. I think it sticks good, but you'll notice that I'd stuck this down and I was still able to kind of pull it up, which is something that I tend to do a little bit. Like, it's like, oh yeah, no, now I'm going to stick this underneath. So it gives me enough play so that I can play around with it while I'm figuring out where everything's going to go. Oh, and see, that little bit is too short. I still need a little bit more. That's one thing about this roll of foam tape. I wish it was thicker. It's not the perfect thickness. There we go. There. I think that's like super cute. So it's just a little bit sticking up, and I'll convince it to stay there. That's adorable. This is good. I'll pop up the butterflies as well. Now I'm just looking. I could do the same with this little bee. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll pop that bee out too. This is like little details that kind of like make me feel like I've finished a page well. So what are the little fiddly things that you like to put onto a page? Or is there anybody that wants to do some show and tell while I'm cutting out a bee? So if somebody has some show and tell, I would love to see what you've been working on, what you've got going on here today. Or recently. It doesn't have to be today. It could be like any, you know. Beth says, I love the dimensional chicken. I would never have thought to just cut part of her out to do that. You will now. Well, I was just telling you guys, I'm like, I like using my craft blade. And like sometimes I'm better at it than others, I will confess. Like, as much as possible, I try to always it's important to be able to see kind of where I'm cutting, right? So using one side of the blade works a lot easier than the other. Kind of like using scissors, right? When you want to see your project, but in worst case scenario, I've cut it, and if I decided that I really didn't want to have it popped up, I can just like slip it right back in that spot and nobody will ever know if I glue it down, right? So going in with your craft knife, it's kind of like, it's an invasive tool, but it doesn't have to be totally scary. So there, you can see I've cut the little bee out with his little bee wings, and then I'm just gonna pop him up off of there once I stick this down. So I'll do that now. So I didn't see any hands being raised, but that may be just me not looking. So if there's anybody that wants to share something, you can like raise your hand. There's like a little option to raise a hand, I think, and then it makes it easy to put you up. Or just take your mute off and start talking, and that should pop you up too. So always fun to kind of see what else everybody has worked on. Okay. Let's get this. I don't want to cover up my pictures in the wrong spots, so take a second to line it up. And now that's good. I'll just trim off the little bits that are overhang here. And pop, oh, I've got my butterflies here. Pop my bee back on. And oh yes, Gwen's got her hand up. So Gwen, if you want to take your take your mute off or whatever so we can hear you.
So one of the funny stories that happened this Christmas, even though I was not good and did not do well at December Daily, was I do take a picture of our elf on the shelf every time. And this particular time I put the elf, I don't know if you can see it, head down in a bowl of Hershey's Kisses.
Oh my gosh.
And the elf actually had unwrapped some, and there was a bite mark out of it. And my son walked by and said, "Yeah, Dad did that," and walked away. And I was like so disappointed, but it really talked about, how, he's 12 now. He's probably too old, but we do it because it's more fun for us now to make the elf do stupid stuff. So, yeah, so I'm talking today about the behind the scenes that, yeah, it really was Dad, but it was sad that, he got it. And actually it wasn't Dad, it was me. I unwrapped all the candy. But I used my craft knife today, and I tucked the pictures behind this circle so that you could see it says inspected by elf, but even though the elf didn't do it. So
No, I think that's super fun. Thank you so much for sharing. I love seeing stuff like that. And yeah, like that's the perfect take. Like Beth says, it's a cute take on the prompt. Very cute, Gwen. I thought this was like a sneaky good idea for going like behind the scenes, kind of seeing what's happening in the backgrounds or whatever. Like I just thought that was so fun. I'm like, every once in a while, as I'm making the prompts, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a really good one. and when I did this one, I'm like that. Yeah, it felt like that. Brielle has her hand up, so if you want to take your mute off, you should be able to come right up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I was having a mic issue. This is super simple, but I have to go, and I thought I would show you guys. But I printed a bunch of big pictures from a big trip that we took last year, and then I'm always like, I don't know what to do with the big picture. So this is the mosque in Cordoba, Spain, and so the main picture is like really big. It's called La Mezquita. And then I just have 3 little pictures at the bottom. And then I'm going to do my journaling at the bottom and just keep it really, really, really simple. I know this is not, usually I like hyper embellished, but I thought it'd be fun to show just what you do with a big picture sometimes.
And I think that with a picture like that, you don't need to have a bunch of embellishments. Like the picture is the big embellishment. Like when you look at all the detail and it's kind of like archways, right? Is that what I was seeing in the picture? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And then I need to go, but this is my favorite way to start my Saturday. Thanks for being here, y'all. I love your page, Alice, and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm so glad you were able to be here for most of this today. It's super fun.
Me too.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye. So I'm popping up these little things, butterflies. Why is it that we like butterflies? Like I guess because they're pretty, but most flying bugs, it's like, like, let's just say when I see a flying ant, I'm like, oh, not like that. Not at all. Butterflies, so pretty. Actually, I heard a really great podcast recently because, it wouldn't be a normal day for me to have one of these things and not talk about some podcasts that I've heard recently, right? But I heard a podcast recently and it was talking about monarch butterflies because they migrate, right? So they come up to Canada, even like they travel every year, but for the winter they actually go down to a place in Mexico, and there are so many monarchs in this one area. Like they all meet up and they all hang out there together, and because of the life cycle of a monarch, it's actually like their great grandparents that had come back from that place. So literally they're like 3 or 4 generations removed from ever having been to this place in Mexico that they all go to hang out like together. And there were so many butterflies in this area that you can actually hear the butterflies, like you hear them. Like it was like an unreal kind of thing to learn about, and it was just fascinating. I'm trying to think of like what the podcast was that I was listening to. Yeah. And they talked about these butterflies. I listen to a few podcasts, let's just say. If my hands are busy but my brain isn't super busy, then then it tends to be something. Yeah. Oh, maybe it was like a side door Smithsonian one. That might have been it. But yeah, it was fascinating kind of learning about, how, because people don't know, right? They don't actually understand. How do they know? And the ones that actually make the migration, their life cycle of those butterflies is super long compared to the life cycle of most monarchs. Like they actually have like a fairly short life cycle until they get to the generation that migrates, and then that generation lives for like 9 months or something like that. Like it was just fascinating. I'm like, the things that we can learn like just by podcasts, YouTube videos. Like I'm always surprised. How do you find these podcasts? Usually one leads to another, right? That's what I find. One tends to lead to another. I think it was probably from Roman Mars's podcast. What is his podcast called? And then from there, like they talk about, we also have this other podcast in our like suite of podcasts, basically. And then, that's kind of, it expands from there. I don't know what I want for a title. I want to say picnic table, actually. That's what I want to say. So I think I'm going to have to go with these little tiny letters. I don't know if the white on here is going to stand out enough. I do have some other brown ones. I thought they were right here too. Yeah. So Robin says we're having millions of Miller moths this year, and I'm not loving it at all. And what is it about like the difference between a moth and a butterfly, where one, oh, so pretty, the other, ew, it's a creepy moth. So bad. I'm sure this summer, being that I'm now officially a gardener that has a garden, I'm sure I'm going to be traumatized by all the bugs. I'm so not good with that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to use these tiny little letters. One thing that I have done recently with foam top letters is I've taken a alcohol ink marker and I've like just covered the top of them to color them, and that has been super fun. Oh yeah, this set has like the blue, but that doesn't work with this. Okay. I think I have one of these that's already started somewhere, but no matter. They'll both get started eventually. So yeah, anybody else here? Good podcast. I really like the side door one. It's from the Smithsonian, so that one is a really good one. I'm also fond of their airspace one from the Smithsonian as well. And 99% invisible is probably one of my all-time favorites. So for learning kind of randomy things about the world and about life, those would probably be my first ones that I would send you out to listen to. 99% Invisible, and then a Side Door from Smithsonian. So there we go. There's some podcast recommendations of the day. But yeah, I listened to more podcasts actually. Like my podcast listening is down actually right now because I'm not doing as much driving. I actually listened to many more podcasts when I was driving so much with my son. But I'm happy to be at home. So Chick, Nick, Nick. Oh, how did they spell it in there? Chick, yeah, Chick Nick. And there. Too much thinking, not yeah, when I'm like spelling out words and stuff. Here it's like, ooh, Alice got really quiet. Sheila says, or Gwen says, if you like Tudor history, Talking Tudors is excellent. I will take down this recommendation. I've done a bunch of the history podcasts as well. So Talking Tudors. And Sheila says, I thought you said 99% divisible. And I was like, yuck, math podcast. No, it's 99% invisible. And I'm laughing about the math thing. That's funny. It's a podcast that's inspired by design. And so not just building design, although that's kind of like one of their focuses is like architecture and stuff, right? Architecture and design is kind of what he says. But that actually worked really well. It doesn't always work. Doing the title transfer from the ruler doesn't always work well. But yeah, I love 99% Invisible. It's probably when I see that there's a new episode, that's one of the ones that I'm like, oh, I must listen to that immediately. And that one crooked. So I'm just calling it My Picnic Table. Maybe not the most creative of titles, but it'll be done and it'll be on here, so that's a win. And then I should have enough space on here to tell my whole picnic table story and the whole behind the scenes. I did not put anything on here backwards, guys. Does it count as backwards when you lay something down and then you pull it up and then you lay something down and you pull it up again? Maybe. Yeah. So yeah, this is a little hard to read, so I think I will add a little color onto the top of these letters. That works pretty good. I'll take it. So there we go. There's this. These will still get added when I do the journaling. I usually throw on a couple of little doodads and stuff like that. But this looks pretty good. I'm so happy. All right, so should we see? Oh, I tossed those little bits in here too, didn't I? Okay. Possibly yellow. Yellow might be good. Yeah, yellow might be a good choice. The teal could be good too if I get the right kind of shade. Yeah. Or I could go with, no, red's gonna be hard to match. So there we go. We're gonna go with either yellow or blue. I could do my and table in one color and chicknick in the other. So maybe I'll do that. And do I have any little, okay, let's compare these colors. There's a little bit of paper to see. Beth says that looks really nice. Thank you. Okay, that's like orange. Glad I tested that. Like, nope. Yeah, that would work. It's kind of the same color as the bee. Oh, that's like really dark. That's not really what I wanted. That is very blue, but it's kind of good. Let's see this one. One's not working as well, but I like the color. So we're going to do those colors. You can color it backwards. Would that count? I will take that, Sheila. I did apply my title kind of backwards. I put chicknick first, right? You saw that. Okay. So I'm just kind of dabbing it on the top of these, and it seems to work pretty darn good. Quite happy with it. I don't have a lot of alcohol ink markers, and I have no skill when it comes to blending. Like literally no skill when it comes to blending. So everything I do with my alcohol ink markers is something you can do with kind of like any kind of crayon or marker. But you know, I own them, so I should use them, right? And they don't seem to like they seem to go on to this foam stuff good. Like the other ones that I've done worked really well with this. So I was happy with that in the end. Yeah. So this is good. I think I'm going to, so did you guys hear? We've got like another batch of like little baby chicks because my husband went and got me some more baby chicks. So they're 3 days old right now. I think I'll take them with me when I go down to my mom's today. I'll just take their whole brooder box in my car and just take the heat lamp and we'll plug it in. I'm not sure that that was the right color. I think I should have used that other blue. I still can. Oh yeah, this looks good. I like this because now if I can get white letters that are these little foam letters, I can have every color, right? Just I'm only limited by my markers. And if it's a great font, like I would buy this, like it's such a versatile one and I love the little size of them. So I'm kind of obsessed with these ones. And if the other side was black and not navy, I'd use them a lot more too. Dear design companies. Yeah, I'll just go over it with the other blue, I think. I think it would stand out a little bit better. And pretty sure it was this one, but let me just double check. Yeah. Look, I'm doing ink blending, guys. Yeah, it's definitely better. And then my title will stand out better. So this page will be almost done, and just needs my journaling and the little things, but it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how this came together. as you can see, like my scrapbooking is kind of fiddly and slow, but I have lots of fun while I'm doing it. And at the end, like when I look at my pages, I'm quite happy with them. So that's all that matters, right? If you're happy with what you create, it's all worth it. Okay. I'm gonna take some of these out. May as well throw them on. And then they're done. And then I literally just have to add the journaling. And maybe I will use a blue pen. I've got some journaling pens that are blue that I can use. I just have so many Beatles songs stuck in my head. It's been it's been amazing, actually. I have loved it so much, listening to all the music and just hearing all the yeah, it's just so inspiring. My gosh, so creative. And the fact that like they really were only together as a band for a fairly short amount of time, it just kind of blows my mind, right? There, Sharon says, I love the title, Alice. I didn't know about these kind of letters that you could color. Well, they don't sell them like that. I just tried it and it seemed to work. So they're foam topped letters. They're just the foam ones. So foam is actually quite a thing when it comes to thickers and stuff now. So these are the ones I had got recently. They're a Dear Lizzie thicker. They're called Fantastic. These little ones, oh, I think they were actually in the original packaging, so I actually can tell you. Yeah, they were in this packaging. I think these came from, they're called Happy Life. Were these Paige Evans, maybe? And they have like the navy on the back side so that you have so many. There's 494 little thicker stickers in here. If there was more white ones or just black instead of navy, I would actually use those more. But I think they're wonderful. I've been doing this a little bit lately. I've done it on a couple pages, and it just makes it really easy to pull that page together that I'm trying to achieve. So there we go. This is looking fairly done except for my journaling. I'm not going to add, I don't think, anything else to it. It looks pretty good. And that is your final little peek for this for today. I'm just gonna come and do this. Yay. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Gwen says it really was an excellent load. And this is lovely. Thank you. So there we go. My layout of the day, and all inspired by the song Because from the Beatles. But, you know, it's like you'd never look at this and go, oh, yeah, that was totally inspired by that song. I think that's always kind of funny, like how we can draw that inspiration and then create something that is so different. Lynn says, very cute page. I was able to get my octopus sewed except for eyes, so it's a good time. Oh, yeah, show. Yeah, we want to see. So do you have your camera on, Lynn? Then if not, then let's ask you
I do have my camera on.
There we go. Maybe that'll help.
I don't know if you're able to see it though.
Nope, I can't see anything right now.
Let's see. I'm used to doing Google Meet because that's what we do for school all the time. So
I'll ask you to start your video. That should help.
okay, did that do it?
Yes.
Here's my octopus.
Oh my gosh. And are you making that out of felt?
It is polar fleece, and then it's stuffed with bags. She likes to crinkle and she likes to pull on things. So this is for her at home.
Cool. Well, that is so cool. And so that's like the tactile part of it that you were saying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So it'll crunch for her, and she can pull all she wants because it's all sewn together. And if she gets it wet, it's got Velcro in it, so mom can pull the plastic bags out and stuff some new ones in after she washes it.
Cool. That's
Oh.
really cool. Oh,
Not a
wow.
scrapbook page, but it's something.
Yeah. Well, you were getting crafty today.
Yes, I was. So thank you very much.
Thanks. Anybody else want to do some show and tell before we wrap up today? Everybody says nice things, I promise.
Well,
Oh,
thanks everyone. Have a great afternoon. I'm going to get going to go find some eyes.
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. This was
Thank
so
you,
fun.
Alice. Bye.
Oh, I see Marcia's got a little one there with her.
I'm hanging out with my little granddaughter because my son and daughter-in-law are at the hospital, hopefully having a baby today.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah. Although I just got a text from him, and they're not progressing as much as they had as fast as they had hoped. So I don't know if he said they were going to watch for another few minutes and they might be coming home. But yeah. So we've been hanging out this morning, and she's watching Elmo.
Oh, awesome.
Actually, she's watching chicks hatch on Elmo on Sesame Street. So just thought I'd pop in and say hi. Been listening while she watches. So.
Well, I have a chicken channel now, and I posted some video here recently of my chickens. So let me go here a little quick and see if I can grab.
Where is your chicken channel?
Yeah, it's called Chicken Livestream. I don't even know if it's going to be easy to find yet on YouTube. I can't even,
Okay,
I don't have enough followers yet that I can even get a custom link yet.
Oh, okay.
6, but I'll just grab the link from it here on the channel. And there we go. So I'll pop this into the thing here, but I posted a couple of little videos. I've got one of the baby chicks, the new baby chicks eating for the first time. And then I've got one of the first batch of baby chicks, the ones that we hatched ourselves, and when they were just 2 days old. So they're like little cute and they're doing their little peeping and stuff. And then there's also a video here of the automatic chicken feeder that my son built. And like it works over your phone. Like he created a page where you go and you press feed and it makes the chicken feeder run, and then you can like feed them from anywhere. And yeah, we've gone high tech with our coop. Oh yes, he's super talented. He is an IT person. That's what he went into for his field. He got laid off with all of the stuff, and so now he's been like, we're gonna live stream our chickens on this chicken live stream channel. I've started an Instagram page for them, and oh my gosh, like talk about a crazy quarantine project. But there's the link if anybody wants to check out. There's just like 3 little videos on there. They're really short, but the chicken feeder, and then 2 different batches of our little baby chicks that we have now. So the ones that we got from the hatchery, they were eating food for the first time, and like they had no problem figuring that out. And they went and drank the water really easily. They actually like easier than the ones that we had hatched ourselves. Maybe they were just a little older, but yeah, it was really cute.
Hey Alice, I'll share my
Awesome.
layout. My bandwidth is kind of terrible, so I'm not sure how that's gonna play out, but I was working on a layout from a Vicky Booten class that I took.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. That's all.
All right, you disappeared for a second. Can I get you to hold it up again, and I'll put you onto the I'll pin it up or whatever. Let's see, spotlight it. That's what I need to do, because I started talking and then it switched the camera. hair.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. And what is that picture that you have on there?
That is this, it's hard to see because it was dark when we took the photo, but it's the center of the universe, apparently. It's a sign, road sign that you can find in Seattle, Washington.
That's hilarious. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing. This is super fun.
Yeah. Thanks.
There we go. Yeah. That's beautiful. Amazing. Love the colors. Yeah, that's a really fun place. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. This has been super fun. I love getting creative and having other people along for the ride as we create together. It's just super fun. And seeing some of the projects that people are making, that's been amazing. I finished my first crochet block. So this is my other quarantine thing. I've never crocheted before, but you know, I ripped this one apart about 5 times and it looks mostly square-ish, so I think it will work. So it's kind of fun. I don't know about the longevity of what it's like to color the foam thickers. I haven't tried with longevity, so I will say take that one, you know, at your own risk. I don't know how they hold up, but you know, alcohol inks or other markers, they should be fine, I think. Yeah, so enjoy. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And as we go into June, I have added most of our events to our ScrapHappy calendar. So we do have a bunch of stuff that will be happening this month. And then our next Scrapbook Live session, which you can join in live if you're catching the replay here right now. Hopefully next time you can catch the live, it will be on June 26th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So on a Friday night, if you were in the in North America, then yeah, and so to sign up, you have to go to scraphappy.org/subscribe, and that's where you can get on. And Sheila says, my husband just asked how much ScrapHappy is. So first year of ScrapHappy is $149 US, and after that, renewals are $99 a year. If you're doing a load challenge right now, then you will get a special offer to come and join at the renewal rate so that you don't have to pay full registration for the first year. So you kind of get in on the load and then get to take advantage of the renewals. So that's what we do with that. And that will come out in the next email or the email after that. It's coming out right away anyways, the offer to come and join the ScrapHappy family if you're doing load challenge. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a great time scrapbooking and that hanging out together makes you a little bit happier. You get your pages done, get that creativity going, and that we get to all do this again next month. It's so fun. Gwen says, thank you, Alice. Great start to my day. Mine too. I feel ready to take on the world now. It's like, I'm like, got my scrapbooking stuff sorted. I've got lots of chicken things happening. I'm going to go head down to my mom. I actually have my card ready to go. So I am good to go. So thanks so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and I will scrapbook with you soon. Bye.